Good morning, everyone. Greetings to you from New York. And it is my pleasure and honor to serve as your co-moderator along with Princess Shepi Motilongo. I hope I got your name right. And happy International Girls' Day. Thank you all so much for joining us. So first of all, I think I want to acknowledge somebody here, my good friend and partner in crime. I have two good friends and partners in crime here. First of them I would like to acknowledge is Dr. Ada, who's relentless. I mean, like she will be up at all times trying to get things going. So why are we here? We are here, ladies, gentlemen, distinguished guests, girls, boys, to celebrate International Girls' Day. My question to you before we get started, why are we celebrating? Can I request people to kindly mute themselves if they're not speaking? Thank you so much. It will also save bandwidth. My question is, why are we celebrating only October 11th as International Girls' Day? Don't you think girls need to be celebrated every day, every second, every moment? And as we all know, the theme today is to talk about girls and how can digital technology help them. And let us not forget about the poor girls and women in Afghanistan who are totally isolated. So I think this day is when we should get together and think of those of us who are less fortunate in not having the freedom or access to enjoy the powers of technology in a good way. So I would like to kick this off by just reading a poem that I wrote about the girl child in honoring the girl children, because I think this is so important that they are acknowledged. And, we are all girls, we are women now, but at every age, we are girls. And I have a daughter who is a girl. And I'm proud to be the mother of a girl. And I'm proud of all the girls. And again, welcome everybody to this International Day of the Girl Child. So I would just like to say, the girl child, I am treated so bad, which makes me sad, often subject to abuse, sometimes with a noose, often neglected, my presence objected. I want to go to school as it's a great tool to help me learn and earn as I grow and glow, coming out of a shadow to say hello. So I just want to say thank you so much all for joining us. And it gives me great pleasure. And ladies and gentlemen, there's a slight change in the program. We have our His Royal Highness Prince Osita Ainemeka, Chairman of the Governing Council Youth Together Global, making a video presentation. And after that, I would like to call upon Ms. Kurik, with your permission, Ms. Cotto, because she needs to leave for work. So that's why, thank you so much for being so gracious about it. Thank you. So over to you, Dr. Ada, who is the force behind everything we do, for the video presentation. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Everyone again. We wanted to share the message of UN Secretary General to the girls. The video message is not yet out. So we'll continue the program probably before the end of the event to be out.
Thank you so much. So Ms. Carter, may I request you to please kick off by giving your words of wisdom. And Denise Carter is a lawyer. She has worked in the UN system with NGOs for a very long time. She has been a passionate advocate for girls and women. And she's also the board director of the UNA USA chapter in New York. But more than everything, Denise is an accomplished person. She's a humanitarian. And, I've had the privilege and honor to call her my friend. And this is the second partner in crime. I can say partner in crime because she's a lawyer and I won't get into trouble. The floor is yours, Denise. Thank you so much for taking time from your busy schedule.
Greetings, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Ada, for being such a force to create this event and so many others. It's my privilege to be with you all today, even for a short time. And I'd like to acknowledge two other very important forces within the NGO community who I've worked with also for decades. As you've heard, Dr. Padmini Murthy and also Winifred Dougherty. These two ladies plus Dr. Ada have been at the fore of real leadership in terms of the NGO community to promote and advance human rights and also to promote the rights of girls. We are here today, and I am bringing the UN flag in with us because we are celebrating a special day that the UN has designated as the International Day of the Girl. Now, many of us are aware that back in 1995, it may seem like a long time ago, and for some of us, it feels just like yesterday, the special World Conference on Women was held in Beijing in China. And a very important outcome document of the Fourth World Conference on Women is the Beijing Platform for Action. That platform for action has 12 different critical areas of concern or 12 different issues that governments and the UN itself was to focus their attention on to create programs on the ground in those areas. And one of those 12 areas is the girl child. So we have been working on issues to create more equality, more inclusion, for girls around the world for over 26 years now. When I talk about this concept of equality and inclusion, we have to keep in mind that the world population is just a little bit more of women than men, right? Women make up 51% of the world's population, and at the same time, women and our girls are not going to school. They're not being educated. They are not receiving food. They are not receiving medical treatment and services because there is around the world, unfortunately, and still it exists in many societies, preference for boys, male preference. We are still dealing with this, and that's the reason why the UN has declared the International Day of the Girl. As you will see later on today with Secretary General's message and with some of the other messages that you may hear, there are many facts that show girls have many rates, a very glaring disparity in difference of education between girls and boys. And this goes on and on and on. For those of us who have been at the United Nations and doing a lot of work to promote human rights across the board, which includes promoting the rights of children and in particular the rights of girls, we know full well how girls have been really separated from this idea of being important members of society. It is getting better. I don't want to promote a very bad picture of things. It is getting better. But at the same time, the facts and the figures and the statistics show how girls really are so far behind when we talk about boys and when we talk about women and men, especially in the STEM area, which is one of the things that we are focusing on today. One of the incredible, wonderful programs that have occurred is the Girls Speak Out, where young girls or young women themselves get together and they dialogue. And that's what we're talking about, how when youngsters, and in particular girls, feel empowered, where they feel that they know who they are, where they feel confidence in themselves, where they feel that they have the ability to talk freely and in a safe way they can express themselves, and they have a lot of wisdom to share. They have a lot of knowledge about who they are and about the world that they live in, and about creating a better world for themselves, for their families, and for their own communities. We're talking about including girls and women in societies as powerful agents of change, as people who can create a better world for everyone. Because we know from the UN and statistics, if you invest in women, you are investing in their families and creating better families, creating better communities, creating better societies. This is called the double dividend of investing in women and what that means and the effects. Because I'm a lawyer, I'm just going to talk about some international treaties that are in place. We talk about the Convention on the Rights of the Child, and this talks about the obligations of states who have ratified this treaty to provide education, shelter, housing, food, medical treatment, training. This is something that I think a lot of people may have heard about the CRC, because it is the most ratified treaty that we have of the specialized human rights treaties. And then I'm going to speak just a little bit about the Convention to Eliminate All Forms of Discrimination Against Women, which is known as CEDAW, CEDAW, because that is geared toward women. But I will say it's geared toward the life cycle of women. So from young girls all the way until older women. And there are many different general recommendations in addition to the treaty that talk about promoting women's rights. And again, it talks about education, it talks about shelter, it talks about housing, it talks about the ability to participate in society, the ability to participate in government and represent government. It talks about the ability of women and girls in terms of really being meaningfully engaged and participating in our communities and in our world across the board. I just like to say that as we talk about STEM, we also have to recognize that human trafficking and trafficking of girls for sexual commercial exploitation is a huge problem, and that has been growing more and more with the result of the new communication technologies and with the internet and so much that we see in terms of social media. So technology can be used for the good, but at the same time, we need to harness it for the good so that we can protect everyone and keep people safe. Because when we talk about commercial sexual exploitation, we are talking about one of the worst forms that we have of human rights abuses. I don't want to go into that again. I want to leave on a hopeful note. I was chair for over 20 years of the Children's Rights Committee for the State Bar, and we did such good work for both boys and for girls, for children in armed conflict and situations of war, but also on the issue of human trafficking, because it was just starting up at that period of time. And I have to tell you that youngsters, they know a lot about the world. We may think we want to shelter them, but at the end of the day, they know about the world. They know about the problems, and they have solutions. They have good ideas, and we can learn as adults a lot from them. We had many youth speakers addressing the Bar Association, addressing many political leaders, and it was just such a special time. And I'm so proud of them because many of them are just incredibly productive, powerful adults and agents of change now in their own communities. So I'd like to wish everyone a happy International Day of the Girl and apologize that I need to leave for a work meeting, but so appreciate being with everyone today and know that you are in good hands with Dr. Atta at the helm and with Dr. Padmini Murthy, who is going to be your wonderful facilitator. Thank you again, everyone, and happy International Day of the Girl from New York and from the UN. All good wishes.
Thank you so much, Denise, for your passionate and practical speech. And, this is what I think is so important, that we need to acknowledge our girls. So with that, I really would like to give a shout out before I invite our next speaker to Ketiho and Maho Mutsi. I hope I pronounced your names correctly, ladies, who are joining us as girls. And it's great that they will be participating in a one-on-one panel discussion later with our good friend and colleague, Winifred. So this is so nice. So it's all about inclusion, and it goes way beyond somebody's religion, race, color, or creed, because we are for the girls. We need to be with the girls, not just today, but every day. So thank you again so much. And thank you again, Miss Mary, correct, for your graciousness in accommodating Denise. So now I turn over the floor to you. Thank you again for your time and everything you do.
Thank you, Dr. Murty. And it's a pleasure to be here. And I brought with me two girls as well. I believe they're here, Namora Lawansa and Shatali Sina. And they are here for a special presentation. I did not know if Dr. Ada or Dr. Anamika, if one of you was going to show the YouTube video, or
you have,
I have the ability.
You have the sharing right.
Yes. Okay. So we got together, the whole production team, to put together a little video to let you know how we felt in producing a global girls poetry booklet, and we spent most of the year doing it. So if Dr. Ada can cue it up, then on YouTube. Do you need me to chat?
Yeah, you have the sharing right. Go ahead.
Okay, let me go ahead and do that. Let's see if I can do that. All right, and I've got to find where I'm at right now. So let me get right there.
While
Can you
we're
see
waiting,
it?
thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, share. Okay. Are you guys able to see this yet?
Not yet.
No,
Not yet. Okay, well, I'm at it. So let me see if I can. There we go. Share screen. Share, and then let me hit the right place. I'm right here. It's rare that I get a chance to do this. All right, you're sharing screen. Can now see your screen. Are you able to see the video?
Hello, everyone. This is Mary Currick from.
You can? Okay. Can you hear it?
And myself, Dr. Anamika from the Sub-Saharan Open University in Nigeria, who is not present right now, but hopefully will join us later. The sort of host for the Daughters Global Youth Mentoring, Girls Mentoring Program, and it's leadership oriented. And as such, we decided to put together a project this year that was it was all about pulling together girls from all around the world, 14 to 18 years old, and gathering poems from them that would be something that would be meaningful to them. And the two producers of the project are Namara Lawansa and Shatali Sina. And those two young ladies are with us now because this is an official presentation to the YOUTHGETHER global organization that has to do with youth development, youth leadership. And this is all meant to be a gift to the United Nations on the Day of the Girl Child. So it's honoring and celebrating those girls around the world who decided to put together their thoughts, their feelings, their fears, their wins, and everything that they thought about being a girl around the world in today's time. And so we have been working on it almost all year long, and it's now culminated into a project that we're ready to pass forward to YOUTHGETHER, who will pass it to the United Nations on this auspicious occasion. So I have with me the whole crew, minus Dr. Anamika for right now, that put this thing together. And so we wanted to start with Namara Lawansa to get her comments on what it was like for her to participate as it. Namara?
Hi everyone, I'm Namara. Thank you so much. I think it's basically because me being a poet myself and enjoying the process of writing. It was fun for me to see girls from all around the world writing poems and talking about things that were important to them. I feel as though everyone's going through something, and getting to see that things that people are going through in writing and seeing how they deal with their things that are in their hearts and how they talk about them was very interesting. And just the fact that it's a book that will come from people from all over the world, from different continents, seeing their culture, the things they do was extremely amazing for me and really actually surreal, because we also have some poems in French, and also it was fun for me to see like how people write in different languages, because I only write in English. So seeing poems in other languages and how people express it in other languages was literally like, it was an amazing thing. So that's what I have.
So her co-conspirator in this whole effort, her co-partner, is Shetali Singh out of India. And Shetali, you are how old and where in India, and where you're going to school?
So I'm from Ahmedabad city in Gujarat state of India, and I just turned 18, and I also joined my college recently. I am studying in GLS University of the Science, and I'm also a poet. So yeah. And about this booklet, producing this booklet was very exciting and beneficial for me. Through this booklet, I learned many things, such as coordination, collaboration, and many more. After reading different poems from different poets all over the world, I came to know about various perspectives or various point of views of women's life. It also helped me to improve on my poetry skills and sketching skills. I have sketched all the doodles in the poetry booklet, and it was really a brainstorming activity for me to read each and every poem, and then after that thinking about the doodles and then sketching it. So yeah, it was really helpful for me. Also, it was my first experience to write a joint poem with my co-producer Navara, and I really enjoyed it. So for giving me this opportunity, I really would like to thank Mary Hinnett and Dr. Osita Enamika. And also, I would like to thank my parents, my mom and dad. They supported me. Even my mom helped me in designing the layout, and my father, Mr. Dipesh Sinha, also supported me and helped me in developing ideas. So, yeah.
That's fantastic. You know, this was a family-oriented event. We have Lamara's sister who did the cover. So Shana, let's hear from you for a second about what it was like to develop a cover that had to be representative of so many different nations.
Okay, hi everyone. I'm glad to have been a part of such a powerful project. I love art and design, and being given the chance to create a meaningful and influential work of art that captures the essence of this whole project has been really fulfilling, because condensing a big project into one small work of art was really challenging, but was also fun to do.
That's great. Now, you're a student in Johannesburg, and how old are you?
I'm 20 years old.
20 years old. Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. Well, now we come to Shetali's mama, her mother, Rupali. And Rupali, you are just like the kingpin of all of this, and putting all the hard work together into a format that looks so wonderful. And we love your words, and then we'd love for you to show the hard copy version of this, and then the digital version for everybody. So you have the floor, my dear.
Yeah. It's an amazing feeling to be a part of this project and work with all these creative people. And I'm really best wishes to all the poets of the new generation. For this book, I designed the layout of all the books for this creative girls. And I also converted this traditional sketches which Shetali made into a digital format. In the booklet, I made a doll at the bottom of every page, and it's a pink color.
so which depicts the innocence, good health, and the playfulness of girls. It shows the wonderful wonder and creativity which this girl shows. So best wishes to all the poets of new generation, and thank you, Miss Mary Curie, for giving me this great opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you. You did an absolutely wonderful job. Everybody did, to be applauded, including our poets from around the world. And I can't wait for them to see this. Now, if you will show us the hard copy version, the cover that you have there, and we'll see the digital version. There we go. There it is in hard copy form, basically magazine format. So the way that works is the arrow to the right would have you flip the page just like it was in a magazine, correct? So show us how that works. Yes. And there's the little icons at the bottom that you mentioned, Rupali, that I love.
This poem is titled Using Your Voice. Are you ever scared to pick up your voice, to break the ice and make some noise? You know it all, you have the heart, but you lack the words to help you start. You watch it hurt from deep within and say to yourself, I'll play violin. But violin alone sounds so sad. It makes you feel worse than that. So the melody you create makes a tune that you'll sing to all afternoon. The words are formed into the melody, and you have it. You've made a melody, a remedy. You wrote a song with all the things you never said. The lyrics were lost, where the voice is lost in your head. Injustice is something you wanted to fight, but you didn't know what was wrong or right. But the violin that you so dreadfully hated slowed the pain and had things mended. You know it all, you have the heart, you have the tune, so you can start.
So from here, my poem starts. So who has courage to speak? For them, it is at the peak. Almighty has chosen you to change the world here. Opinion of logical and correct here has power to swap the fair. You just need to pick a start, what's right according to your heart. Start from the top of your voice before it becomes an unwanted voice. Every word of yours can't be a delivery, but for the best, something has to be magnified. If we all speak it in one tone and join body bone by bone, our efforts will work to be change. Together, we will all have made change.
For the ones with voices and those who lack, let's come together and the world will attack. So find your inner gifts for this world and take your seats as a girl on the throne of a better time where empowered girls are not a crime.
Thank you all that were on. Appreciate it very much. And now it is officially presented to you together. Okay, everyone. I am so pleased that we have Namara and Chitali actually here with, I'm stopping the share. There we go. And I don't know if Aditi joined us or not. So I'm going to ask if we can get the girls forward just to, Chitali has the copy in her hands. She's going to show it to you. Dr. Anamika and Madam Chancellor, we will get you the hard copy so that you can take it forward to the United Nations for us on this. On this occasion, we won't be on this day, but on this occasion. But the digital version went live and is live today, and it is available at www.frontrunnersinnovate.com. I will put that link into everyone, and it's a flip book like what you've seen. And so we'll make sure all the poets will know that it's there. So girls, if they could step forward. Chitali, I know you're here. I know Namara, you're here. I don't know that Aditi made it in. She's from, she's one of the poets and she's one of our Daughters Global girls. She's out of the UK, but Chitali and Namara, can you speak and just say hello? Do we need to make them something, Madam Chancellor or Dr. Osita?
Do we need to make them a panelist or anything to be able to speak?
Are they within your section?
I think they are in the attendees session. I don't know, but
What's the name?
can this Namara Luansa?
Yeah, I just want them to say hello on camera, and then
She just typed, she just typed hello. Namara
okay.
just
Oh,
typed hello.
okay. There we go. We got that. All right. So we got that from her, and Shatali. I don't know if she's had to step away from the microphone. So
Who else? Who else?
okay, that's that. Shatali and Amar were the two, and hopefully they'll be able to stay with us a little bit later for part of the conversation. So she says she's not a panelist. Amar says she's not a panelist, so she can't, I guess, step to the camera and the mic on camera.
She's on.
I'm a panelist now.
Shatali.
There we go. Now she is. Say hello. This is
Hi.
co-producers from Tanzania. Thank you. Beautiful job, Namara. Thank you so much. You look gorgeous in pink, by the way, which is a really good color for this month.
Yeah.
All righty. Thank you much. I don't know if Shatali can come forward, but we'll leave it at that because I know we have some more programming to do, and maybe we can get her on later. All right. Thank you so much. We'll get you the copies, and I'll put the link in the chat box for everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. This was like totally amazing. Congratulations, young ladies. You make us so proud, and I can't wait to read your book, being a poet myself. You have been such an inspiration, and thank you so much, Mary, and your team. This is so heartening to listen to this. Oh, this was so nice, and such a great, what shall I say, compliment to what Denny said. So this was perfect. Thank you so much. And thank you for all the work. And again, Chaitali says she's here. And again, Chaitali, very nice work you and your teammates did. And may I request our tech wizard, sir, to just briefly make Chaitali a panelist so that she will say hi to everybody. It would be nice to see her. Thank you so much for indulging us.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. You're so kind. Thank you.
We couldn't do it without you.
Yeah.
Hi everyone.
Here she is.
Chaitali, so nice to see you. Thank you for everything you're doing. Congratulations. Hope we can welcome you in New York.
Absolutely.
Thanks a lot.
Absolutely.
She's our newest college girl. And,
Nice.
and thank you also to her mother, who really put all of this together in booklet form. So Rupali, I don't know if she's nearby, but thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, she's a grown-up girl, so she supported girls. Thank you all so much. Thank you,
Thank
Mary.
you.
That was such a beautiful gift from the heart. And thank you, sir, our tech person, for making sure, Prince, that we have the girls there. Thank you again. Ada, may I kindly find out from you before we go on if we have Prince Osita and Nimika here, or we come back to him later? Because I just want to make sure before we go on to the keynote. Pardon me?
He's the senior girl you just had, the guy.
Okay.
He's here.
Okay, so sir, Prince, Osita, and Amika, the floor is yours now. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. This is Osita Nemeke. I'm chairman of YOUTHGETHER Global Governing Council, and I am in Abuja, Nigeria. My job today is very simple because I lived through the entire experience. It is YOUTHGETHER Global first anniversary. We want to look at the challenges, the successes, and the journey so far. On our first meeting, our first focus was on our first question: how can YOUTHGETHER Global, as a youth development program, move away from other programs that are assortments or vulnerable programs, but often with disconnected pillars? So from our first day of birthing on August 12, 2020, YOUTHGETHER Global, through our inauguration on October 11, 2020, vowed to become a coordinated youth development scheme with superior content and relevant for the world youth. So our strategy for working toward this goal in the last 1 year involved building a global community of youth development collaborative, YOUTHGETHER Global Board of Trustees, working with YOUTHGETHER Global Governing Council, and working with YOUTHGETHER Global Regional and Country Coordinators. And I will tell you that successful collaborations take various forms. Our program at YOUTHGETHER Global built from inside out, from bottom up, and we're supporting a healthy development of programs in all continents, so in all the countries of the continents of the world. At our centerpiece at YOUTHGETHER Global are shared goals, inclusive membership, country-specific programs, and the ability to mobilize our young people to influence the creation of policies for country and institutional changes. So in 1 year, we have achieved this much. We launched the YOUTHGETHER Global Youth Innovation, Entrepreneurship and Leadership Development Program called YIELD. We launched the YOUTHGETHER Global EDIT, the Enterprise, Diversification and Innovation in Tourism and Hospitality. We launched the YOUTHGETHER Global WIVES, Women in Integrated Vocations and Entrepreneurship Schemes. We also followed the YOUTHGETHER Global ECOSOC Youth Forum and launched the Post-ECOSOC Youth Forum for our CCEL project, where we spent 5 Saturdays involving global experts, subject matter experts, to train our young people all over the world on various aspects of leadership. We also involve ourselves in the Language Without Borders program, using the International Mother Tongue Day to establish a program for our global youth to experiment with global language culture, going back first language as a foundation for learning. Youthism. YOUTHGETHER Global Youth are called Youthisms, and these are the focus of the initiative. And we have evolved an astute global awareness campaign and advocacy programs for our regional and country coordinators and also their members in country. Now we have gone further than that. We went on to establish our own basketball team called YOUTHGETHER Global Gracers. These are young boys and some young women who have started playing local tournaments to be able to grace the center point of global basketball tournaments. And now we have also been part of this year's YOUTHGETHER Global Day. YOUTHGETHER Global, for our first mention, was Day of the Youth. And then today we are celebrating the Global Day of the Girl Child. But you ask us, what have been our challenges? And I'll tell you, our major challenge is establishing the same strategic focus for our country coordinators and their members. And this meant establishing and anchoring collaboration in the countries and developing a social mobilization strategy that has been able to help all our young people to create focus that can only be matched by a spirit like ours. So on behalf of the Chancellor, the Governing Council of YOUTHGETHER Global, I want to thank you all for your support in the last 1 year. And I want to thank you all for being here today to share with us. I want to thank Mary Kurek for YOUTHGETHER Global team of poets, because this project took us more than 8 months to achieve, and it has been a good labor of love. In closing, I want to share with you YOUTHGETHER Global's Pride of the Year. Africa's latest cadet graduate, Miss Uche Promise Echefu. If the Chancellor can allow me a sharing right, I want to show this pride of YOUTHGETHER Global to the rest of the world. She graduated top of the class in the Nigerian Defense Academy.
You have the sharing right.
Thank you so much. Thanks a lot. This is YOUTHGETHER Global's pride today. She is Promise Echefu. We celebrate her for graduating from Nigerian Defense Academy with first-class honors in computer science, in the Faculty of Military Science and Interdisciplinary Studies. She received, among others, the following awards. She received the Commander-in-Chief Best Graduating Cadet Academic Award, and that is the Presidential Award. Our President is our Commander-in-Chief. The Afe Babalola Best Behaved Graduating Cadet Award. She also received the Chief of Defense Best Graduating Cadet in Navy. Ladies and gentlemen, please meet and greet Cadet Officer Uchende Promise Echefu, our pride in YOUTHGETHER Global. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Excellency, for your passion and compassion. Listening to you, it is so heartening to find that the girls have an ally in you, a supporter in you. And thank you so much for all your encouragement and, being a great leader, powerful, and making sure that the girls shine like stars. And that's what we need. Thank you so much, sir. Very grateful to you. And now
and it's first anniversary, happy first anniversary to YOUTHGETHER Global.
Thank you.
The initiative in engaging boys and girls for the United Nations Decade of Action in Community. And we are into 9 countries, and the youth are doing marvelously well in promoting the development agenda among the young adults, in communities especially. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Ada, for, again, acknowledging, taking that. But this is so nice because this is like you are setting the bar so high and inspiring others to join you. And many, many more successful anniversaries and years to come to you and your team. And now it gives me great pleasure to welcome His Excellency, Dr. Roland Roberts. He's the founder of Transform Africa, Roland College and Courageous, an artificial intelligence and cyber security think tank. He's a member of the US delegation to South Sudan, assisting with the stabilizing the government. And he sits on several boards, and he's on the board of advisors for the Asian African Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Thank you so much, Dr. Rollins. Thank you for your time. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Dr. Murthy and Dr. Ada and Mary Couric and all of those that are here. Thank you for the warm welcome. Thank you for the great work that each of you do. It's been very inspiring to listen to the heart and the spirit in which these messages are being delivered. It is something that I have seen and experienced firsthand. I'm also on the board of directors. I'm actually the chairman of the board for the International Association of Pageantry, which empowers and supports and protects women who participate in that sport. And that was because even in an area where they're trying to be empowered, oftentimes they can be exploited. And so we want to protect them and create the ethics and the self-regulating bodies the world over. We've helped with legislation in Sri Lanka and other countries to establish that baseline of how to best protect the girl child. With the extensive work that we do in Africa, it is to the forefront of our minds the challenges and the opportunities that face the girl child of today. I am fortunate to have 2 young daughters. And so I have firsthand experience on that front, but I can tell you, I helped them start businesses from a very young age. My oldest, I helped start her when she was 5. I started her first business, making $250 US per week. And then my youngest daughter, we started at 9 years old with what she was passionate about and created a business around that. And that is one of the ways that I have focused on empowering my own daughters, because the challenge that I saw in obviously child in different countries and parts of the world experience different challenges. And so in the United States, one of the challenges for really men and women is economic independence. They rely heavily on employment. They rely heavily on a company to take care of them, to pay them a worthy wage, a living wage, and that varies by everyone's subjective standard of living, of what their lifestyle they're seeking. And so I wanted to remove that power. I wanted my daughters to retain that economic power that they have. They don't have to give that up and give that away into someone else's hands by using the digitization of commerce today. And so unlike the way business used to be done in the past, you had to be 18 years old, say, to buy a home or of age in certain places in order to do legal transactions. But in today's digitized economy, you can start a business and do commerce in many ways creatively. And so I think that the digitization of education, the digitization of business and industry is creating unprecedented opportunities for the girl child all over the world. Entrepreneurship is the single greatest economic engine on earth today. And when I spoke in the Great Hall of the People to China's Communist Congress, that was the message. When we're in Africa and we're training entrepreneurs all across the continent, over half of our students are female and youth. And even just 2 weeks ago, Saturday, we held our 4th annual differently abled business workshop entrepreneur academy for those with Down syndrome. And we started our 52nd Down syndrome business, 6 of which are now doing over 100,000 USD in revenue every year. I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, with us and distinguished guests today, while there are many challenges, there is great hope, and it is a matter of getting the information in the right hands. Information alone has never been the answer. Education alone has never been the answer. It is what you do with that education and what you do with that information that propels one forward. We have unprecedented access to more information and education than has ever been known in the world today. We have in search engine capabilities, we can learn more about science and more about technology and more about astronomy and more about mathematics and more about physics and the arts. And it's all in one location. And there's more information than our brains, our finite minds could ever comprehend. And it's there most of the time without cost or expense. So creating more access to the girl child around the world to devices and to internet really opens up an entire world of possibilities on the education front and then also on the commerce, because if you free them mentally through education and creatively, and then you free them economically through the ability to transact, which they are transacting through social media, they're transacting in the social economy, they are transacting in the relational economy with relationships. They're transacting every time they have an exchange online. They are buying online. They are doing business online. And one of the best aspects, most empowering aspects of the digitization for the girl child is that the sellers on the other end, or the consumers, whichever side of the coin they're on, do not discriminate. They do not say, well, what gender are you? What how tall are you? How short are you? How much charisma do you have? How much influence? How popular are you? How much money do you have? How little do you have? Where do you sleep at night? Is it a beautiful home or is it in the street? None of that matters. What I'm saying is it levels the playing field for the girl child. Now, and anytime you level the playing field, there's pros and cons. You no longer have an excuse. It removes the excuse. You have the ability, you have the opportunity, you must seize that. One of the greatest women I really loved meeting in Africa, she asked me, she said it in a very colorful way, and she said, you know, I've been able to influence every president in Africa. And she said, do you want to know how I did it? And it was, she worked with all of the first ladies. She provided services for all of the first ladies of Africa. Well, as you know, women have great power over men. You have great leadership, and you are divinely designed in that way. And so it doesn't matter how many meetings we may have during the day. I have to lay my head down to go to sleep at night. And if my wife, if I'm about to make a decision that's going to not make her happy, I will hear about it before I am allowed to fall asleep, right? And so that's how much power. It doesn't matter if you've got the Senate voting. It doesn't matter if you've got ambassadors and congressmen and senators. It doesn't matter other foreign leaders in my ear. If it's going to go against something, you know, that my wife, I have to sleep in that bed every night, and I don't want there to be problems between us. And so that is the kind of power and influence that, and that's can't be abused either. It's one of those things where it is mutual respect. It really is. I love that we acknowledge the Day of the Girl Child. And I would say to all men and boys and the boy child to not scorn the celebration of women. Do not scorn or shy away from the fact that there is a day that we celebrate and empower, because you can't over encourage and over support women. And especially the girl child that will be our leaders of tomorrow. You understand there's more women in leadership positions today in government and in corporations around the world than there's ever been. And it's just growing dramatically, with many governments putting in passing laws where up to 30% of their representation must be female, and things along those lines. And so it really is both sides respecting each other and empowering each other and working together. I also commendate the leadership at YOUTHGETHER and for the United Nations Day of the Girl Child celebration, because one of where some initiatives get off track is when they empower women and alienate the men. And so to have a couple of males join in the celebration of women really shows that we all can celebrate women together in an appropriate manner. And so I really appreciate you understanding that, because as some of the leading ladies in Africa have shared with me, it can't be all about us. We have to, because there's men in the world, like one of the previous panelists said, half the world is men too. We have to work together. And so we celebrate both. But on this occasion, we get to specifically praise women. And I would say in closing that I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for a woman. None of us would be, would we? We are grateful. I am grateful for my mother. I'm grateful for my sister, and I'm grateful for my daughters, and I'm grateful for each of you. And so all of the work that we do around the world, and specifically on the continent of Africa, there are many challenges. There are healthcare issues, rural healthcare. There are education issues. We're having to supply a lot of devices to Malawi, for example, because the girls, 2 of the girls' schools, over 500 of the girls had not been in any kind of a class for the last 18 months with COVID. And yet you have a vast number of them getting pregnant that are between the ages of 9 and 12 years old. And so we offered our curriculum for free, but that wasn't enough, because then they didn't have, only their schools had internet, and then they didn't have any devices. And so we then had to supply devices and the curriculum. And then now they're able to go to school and just rotate the use of the devices. But we have to do whatever we need to do to protect the girl child around the world. That's what, because that is the standard of humanity. When we empower women in dignity, everyone rises. It is not to another's demise. And I think the more people that understand that, the stronger of a society we will be. I want to thank each of you for the work that you do, and for supporting all of the young ladies around the world to fulfill their God-given dreams in this era. Thank you, and I believe in the greatness of each of you. Asante sana, Kwaba.
Thank you so much. What shall I say, Dr. Roberts? I mean, for the first time, I'm struck dumb, because, I think I was born talking from my mother's womb, being a physician and a professor and talking. But I think you bring something which is so valid, because 2 points really touched me. Is one thing is when you acknowledge how important it is for men to be involved. Absolutely. In the spelling of a woman is a man included. It shows gender harmony. So, and then when you reach out to the boy child, now this is important. Just because we're celebrating women and girls, it's not that we are decrying men. We all are here because of our fathers, our partners, spouses, siblings, friends, colleagues. But this is very nicely put together by you. And the other thing is, it was so nice you talked about the importance of teaching your girls saving. They are lucky. Like my daughter is lucky because you know what? She's doing a PhD. She went to school without a loan because of the support she received from her family. Now, my focus is turning it back to you, which again, at some point, and I do hope to have a one-on-one with you outside this, is how can we help girls all over the world to make sure they have their dignity, for example, have access to sanitary pads. This is the day of the girl child. It's a normal physiological process. What do we do to help them? I have seen so many people, and before I turn on to our next speaker, I'm just going to say that when I was a little girl growing up in India, we had domestic help. My parents are very progressive, and all these people used to fight to come and work for us. So one day I asked the girl, why you want to fight? Everybody wants to, they always want, like they were accused, like we want to work for you. Because they said, your mother buys sanitary products for us along with you. The reason I bring this up is we are empowering them, but we also need to respect the basic need that every girl has. She should not be ashamed because she has a period. It's a way of life. And to anybody, I tell the men, the boys who are skeptical, whom I'm invited to interact with all the time, you wouldn't be here if your mom didn't have a period. So I just wanted to add that to what you said, because it really made me I want to bring this up in a way now. So thank you again so much. All our speakers have been great. And Dr. Roberts, I look forward to interacting with you one-on-one. I think we're all in New York, or we're all global citizens, but I think this is what we need to bring together, is what we can do to help girls lead dignified lives in this digital age. Thank you again. Thank you so much. And moving on, I think one of our next speakers has internet connections. So while we wait for her, I would like to call on the other speaker, because this is Sharon, who is a third-year high school student at the Bellarmine Pan Comprehensive High School, Belize. Thank you so much, Sharon. It's so nice you're joining us. Over to you. Thank you. Hi, come on in.
Yes, good morning. My name is Sharon Johnson, and I just want to say what an honor it is to be a part of this event. Thank you for letting me be a part of it. I will be speaking on our girls, our generation, and our goals in post-COVID-19 recovery. In these challenging times, I feel it's best to stay prepared for anything that comes your way. Due to this pandemic that really affected the world, we had to adapt to the new regulations as soon as possible. And as a young girl having to come to terms with all the new challenges, I would like to speak from that angle and share my personal take of how it affected, but also taught me a lot about myself. In my country, Belize, schools has been closed since 2020 in March. This was understandable, a big shock to my country, and it took a while for the school and government to get on their feet, and thus we switched to doing classes online. Immediately, this affected a lot of my peers, as not everyone has the proper resources to continue their education online. Witnessing that taught me a lot. First off, I recognized how fickle life is and how it can change in a moment, as we saw and continue to see with the pandemic. It also showed and demonstrated how we must adjust to fit the new changes and challenges that life hurls at us. And this lesson, I realized, can very much be likened to the digital age. I witnessed many people's ambitions coming to a standstill simply because they did not have the resources to continue at no fault of their own. The world continued to move forward, but some were being left behind. And that is the purpose of today. We want to ensure that no one is left behind. And in a lot of cases, we see young girls like myself being victims of circumstances which causes them to be left behind as the world moves forward. Girls need to be provided with tools and resources to face and tackle the challenges that they face, and so they can move forward at the same pace with the rest of the world. This is the only way we can see them filling positions of being world leaders, and given the route that the world has taken, a lot of this rests on their access to technology. Girls should be encouraged and provided with the resources to maneuver and navigate in this technological world, so we can see more representation from them, from us, in jobs that we have to do with technology and other like opportunities. In short, what I'm trying to say is that now, especially moving forward with the reality of COVID-19 pandemic, and in referencing the wise and relevant words of Miss Universe 2019, Zubini Tunze, girls should be given every opportunity to take up space and make meaningful and impactful change in today's world. That is our goal for girls globally, especially in the technological age, and it is what we hope to see going forward with our post-COVID recovery. Thank you.
Sharon, I'm looking at a future leader. Thank you. You were amazing. And when I was in Belize with my daughter, you bet I'm going to get your information, come and hang out with you on one of your beaches. It is so cool. You did a great, great job. Congratulations. Everybody join me in giving Sharon and all the girls a big shout out. Amazing. This is what, this is what we feel happy about, because this is what we all want, our torch bearers. You are our torch bearers, young lady, and I'm so proud of you. We are so proud in passing the mantle on to you. Thank you, Sharon. That was so cool. Really cool. Thank you, my dear. Next, I would like to, I just want to know.
Yeah, she's back. She's back.
Speaker? Is she back?
She's back. Yeah, so after her is Dr. Grace. Sorry, she's back.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. And again, ladies and gentlemen, this is fluid. We are changing speakers based on connectivity issues. So, taking into consideration. So thank you so much for your patience. So now we have another young star joining us. Her name is Bula Bendalo. I hope I got your name right, Azili. And she is second of 5 children, and she's in grade 8 in Makula Secondary School in Eastern Cape. And she has participated in spelling bees. Woo-hoo! Excellent. And achieved top 3 in English, Afrikaners, and mathematics. And she plays volleyball and netball. So over to you. Thank you so much. We're waiting to listen to what you have to say.
Thank you so much, ma'am. We're under the topic of take a girl child to work. Violation of women's rights is an acute problem in many countries around the world, including South Africa. Despite the legislation progress, many women in South Africa suffer inequality and can't find an appropriate job due to the lack of job skills. Annual campaign known as Take a Child to Work Day is aimed at changing this situation. For many of you, if you don't know me, I am Buhlebendalo Makashu from Makale Senior Secondary School, located Kwabhaca, Lutherland. Take a Child to Work Day is an annual cooperative social investment event held in South Africa since 2003. Companies involved organize for female learners, usually from disadvantaged backgrounds, to spend a day at their workplace the Thursday of May. The initiative is by Cellc, a cellular service provider, and endorsed by the South African Department of Education. It has been called South Africa's largest collaborative act of volunteerism. Despite advances in legislation, the majority of women in South Africa suffer from gender inequality as they lack the skills to make them economically independent. Women remain underrepresented in the formal economy and more so in corporate leadership positions. This is because there are career opportunities that were previously not accessible to women, may not be aware of. Additionally, there are challenges and constraints faced by women in South Africa and children. The challenges are teenage pregnancies leading to school dropouts, HIV and AIDS, and child-headed families. High levels of sexual abuse, rape, violence against women and girls, underrepresentation within the corporate world. The Take a Child to Work Day has been infected by coronavirus. What is coronavirus? Coronavirus is a disease. COVID-19 is an infectious disease caused by SARS-CoV-2 virus. Most people who fall sick with the COVID-19 will experience mild to moderate symptoms and recover without special treatment. However, some will become seriously ill and require medical attention. As COVID-19 continues to impact many lives, including women and young girls, though in South Africa the death rates have been low, but they have disrupted women's lives as the gender-based violence increased due to people staying at home. The 2020 campaign for Take a Girl Child to Work slogan has more than a day is aimed at encouraging organizations to host 3 workshop days. For the same time, male learners were welcomed to participate in light of the effect of the COVID-19 pandemic on all learners' academics and career aspirations. This initiative recognizes that now more than ever, South African learners need the support of the corporate environment to build on their hopes for the future. Due to the pandemic, the Take a Girl Child to Work Day workshops will be hosted online. This means that learners will gather at their schools where they will participate in 3-day-long virtual workshops. Learners will adhere to COVID-19 protocols, wearing a mask, social distancing, and sanitizing. In conclusion, that's the goal of Take a Girl Child to Work Day, thinking of the girl child with regard to their infinite roles in society. Enhance her self-esteem, inspire and motivate her to reach her full potential, and through exposure to diverse careers and positive role models, assist her to prepare for the world of work. Female children. This initiative focuses one day on empowering female children because their historical and current disadvantages. However, male children are not ignored. They are asked to reflect on their relationship with women and informed about what behaviors are not acceptable. In the suitable development by 2030, ending poverty in all. By 2030, ensure that all men and women equally rights to economic resources as well as basic services, ownership and control over land, other works of poverty, inheritance, natural resources, appropriate technology, and financial services, including microfinance. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Azili. Great job. And your remarks were such a nice addition to what Sharon said. You know, may the power of the force be with you and you continue to do everything. Thank you again so much for joining us from South Africa. And thank you for your patience and persistence in spite of the internet outages you came. Very grateful. Thank you so much. God bless. Our next person we have is Dr. Grace Faraha, founder and CEO of African Girls Hope Foundation. Over to you, Dr. Faraha. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone. And good morning or afternoon to all of us in different areas. And I hope you can hear me well. It is really an honor today to celebrate Girl Child. And of course, I want to say a big thank you to the United Nations who made it possible and mandate this special day worldwide so that as leaders to enable all of us in different geographical area to stand up and become the change makers in all our different places that we are. So youth gather where you are, stand up, continue to do what you are doing, what you have started. It's the greatest thing that you can ever and will never regret to do. 3 decades ago, we did not have this special day to celebrate our girls around the world. The gap in every sectors for our girls were very noticeable, either in education, in employment, and government leadership, and others. And my colleagues have already shared more with that. As far as the African nations, our girls in the villages are still not given the equal education attention to date. So although we are doing our best to make all the changes that we can, but still, we are still facing these issues that have been there for generations. But are we going to stop doing what we are supposed to do? No, we are not. And reason why, Youth Gather, you stood up. Now you're celebrating 1 year to stand up and continue to make the change that is needed at this moment of the pandemic and crisis that we are in. Just from my own experience, I want to share with you just a small story of what we still have a lot of work to do as leaders. And although the pandemic came and the challenges went up, so in the villages or where we are, our areas of work, where we're still working, the gap is still huge. Educational gap is still huge. The accessibility of all the opportunities for our girls is still huge, very noticeable, that we seriously need as leaders to stand up. For fact, where I come from originally from the Democratic Republic of Congo, and my village in the South Kivu, in the whole tribe, we only have 4 girls with the highest education. When I say highest education, is the level of the PhD girls we have among over 1 million people in the tribe. which means we are 4 of us only, girls with a PhD education, me being the second and the first in the United States. So the gap is still huge and the work is still enormous. And as you know, with different countries, especially in Africa, that the issues of economic crisis and the war, civil war, has also been part of the challenge that we have been going through. But again, should we keep quiet? No, we cannot keep quiet. We have to stand up. Now, it's our time now as leaders to do what we can and also give an opportunity to our next girl to become a doctor, to become a teacher, to become the community leader that we need today. And as I speak today, I'm just happy that this week, as after 2 days, I'm having a new girl, baby born in 2 days, that I know for sure she's going to become the new generation, the new girl who is going to bring change in this world. My fourth girl. So I'm very grateful for today as I speak. And I know I will, when the girl will be born, I will share with her that the week of Girl Child, I spoke and I shared about this. Few of other challenges that we're still going on, we're still having as with our goals. And I cannot stop talking about this because it has been really impacted me in a very special way, because it's a reality of issues that are still happening. And I'm saying this with facts. Just 6 weeks ago, a man in one of our African countries that I don't want to mention called for 30 men, friends of his, forced his wife and 2 young girls, 9 years old and 12 years old, for FGM in his house 6 weeks ago. Of course, due to pandemic, of course, everyone was home, everyone is locked down, and the situation became so bad, and the traditional practices, now it was given an opportunity to do it more. It's one of the issues that even during the pandemic, the traditional practices became too much to our community. And we cannot stop talking about that. Again, just a few weeks ago, again, 6 weeks ago, a 14 years old girl was taken to a marriage, forced marriage. These things are not old school. These issues or challenges with our girls, it is not stories. They are not stories that we hear. No, we have facts. But what do we do? These realities of issues, we have experienced it in our families, in our communities, our friends. And thank God, some of us who are here in the United States, we overcame some of these challenges. But we know our friends who are still going through this. And what do? In my organization, African Girls Hope Foundation, our sole mandate is to empower, equip, and educate as many girls as possible. Currently having 160 girls fully accessing education in 40 different schools and villages. We are trying to do our best to make the changes as much as possible. And the YOUTHGETHER Global. This is a time that you cannot keep quiet in all the areas. I was glad to be on the Zoom on Saturday and inaugurating all the new leaders, coordinators in different areas. And I salute you for taking that action. I am proud of you because I know every action you take on behalf of the youth and girls, it's a generation change it's a generation transformation that you are making. You are changing the world through the initiative that you're going to do in your own communities. Everyone, every single participation with your skills that you make as Youth Global, it does make a huge impact by taking that action. And I commend you to do that. Don't be silent. In my organization, I always say that I always share about the 3 P's of life. The 3 P's of life as we empower our girls is to have them understanding the purpose of their lives, the passion of their lives, and the position. How they should take the position to make sure that they're in the right track as they grow. Because the impact that we are making in their lives, it's a generation, it's a circle of a generation of change makers, a circle of generation of YOUTHGETHER Global, that you are going to change from one generation to another. African Girls of Foundation, all the girls we are impacting, the same girls also make change from one generation to another. And COVID-19, what did COVID-19 did? It affected all kinds of people, companies, organizations, communities. The pandemic made worse with the issues that we were already facing. For example, the educational gap for our girls was at 9 million of girls could not attend a class. But now after the pandemic, it went up to 13 million. That's a huge gap. And thank God for, at least for the kids who are here in developed countries, they could access education during pandemic, online. What about other girls or other children? Let me say in Africa, where I come from. Let me speak from my original place where I come from. That when the pandemic broke down, there was no access to education. There was no access to any, because we do not have any accessibility to internet. Even having Zoom, we still have issues with Zoom. And what about our girls? How are they going to access education or have digital access? This is the work that we all want to stand up and make it happen together as leaders. I would say that globally, 3.7 billion people do not have access to the internet. Half of them are women. That's according to the UN. In every situation that happened, any crisis that happened in the world, either war, either the COVID, women and children are the ones that are being affected the most. All the time, we are the most vulnerable human that, I don't know why, but again, the reason why we have to stand up and bring change. 3.7 billion. And as we speak, still, even now, we still have internet issues or digital accessibility to all our communities around the world. But again, we will not stay quiet. This is the time to stand up and advocate for the provision, advocate for all kind of accessibility for our girls to be able to be able to access education and other opportunities too. Our girls,
Thank you, Dr. Grace.
At our home. And as I finish, I want to commend this. It is at a very high time that we need all of us to stand up as leaders, provide advocacy to our girls, and everything that is needed for our girls to have provided. and I'm here. And anytime that we are needed, I'm able to share what we can together so that we can provide all the need that our girls need to have. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Grace, and thank you for everything you do, all your advocacy efforts, and good luck. Congratulations, you're going to have a baby, and it's so nice just with the International Day of the Girl Child, you're having your own little girl. I'm sure she has a great role model in you. Thank you so much. And now I would like to hand over the next part of the program to my co-moderator, Princess Shepi Motolong, the Secretary General of Youths Together, who will moderate the panel, The Girl Child and the Decade of the Action. So thank you all so much.
Greetings, good evening. Good evening, and thank you so much, Dr. Padmini, for such a wonderful work that you have done. You've been driving this ship so well. You have done a great job indeed. I don't know if I can be heard or be seen.
Yes, ma'am, you can be heard and seen, and thank you so much. It's such an honor to co-moderate with you and hand it over to you. And may I bear your indulgence for 2 seconds? I want to acknowledge Winifred, whom we all know for such a long time in the UN. She is the most ardent proponent for girls. Winifred, thank you so much. Great to see you. Thank you again, ma'am. Over to you, moderator.
Thank you so much. Yes, indeed. It is such a pleasure to be among these great women that have created such a great name that has been inspiring to us. Here with me, I will not be alone in sessions, bringing in the girls, the 3 girls that are going to be 3 or even more that are going to be with us to our panelists. So if I can have Mphomotie, which is Seho, and Mphomotie, can the host help us to also bring her a 4? So ours will be, as I've said, I am greeting everybody
Go
from
ahead,
South
I'm looking for
Africa,
her.
the city of gold. Mphomotie is
Whom do you want? Whom do you want?
Mphomotie is one of the girls that has to be on as well.
Go ahead, I'll look for her.
There we go. There we go. I can see her. She just needs to be on the center as well. Thank you very much. I would like to greet Dr. Winfred. I would like to greet Dr. Diana, to greet Ms. Zarin Taj, Ms. Johnson, to greet Ms. Katleho, and all my co-hosts, my co-moderators, and all our honorable panelists. To kick off, because we have very limited time, this is the decade of action. Ours will be to help the girl child in this decade of action, so that they will know what is being done and what is planned to be done. And what I have noticed with is that we have, I acknowledge the Roberts who is making such strides in Africa, and imagine what they have been doing, him and the team, joining doctors in Africa to help us women, to help us the girl children, and including also our men. So coming, may I have just the 2 minutes introduction. Dr. Winfred, our introduction, who you are, and so that I know you better. Dr. Winfred?
Thank you, Princess. I wasn't sure, I couldn't hear you clearly. There was a breakup. So thank you very much for inviting me here. And it has been a real pleasure and an honor to be present at this full event this morning. And it's so hopeful when we see such a multidisciplinary and multidimensional team all together, focusing on what is the issue for today, girls and the girl child. And today, as everybody knows, is the International Day for the Girl, and happy International Day to everybody. Just in the interest of time, I am going to share my screen and move quickly in terms of addressing what is happening today and how possibly you can bring it forward in the decade of action. So as we are engaging on this panel this morning, simultaneously on the UN website, we have the main event for today, where the Working Group on Girls, of which I have been a member since 2008 and before, when I was a missionary in Ethiopia. So some of the context of what you've been speaking about in terms of Africa, I am very aware of. So the Working Group on Girls, together with UNICEF, UN Women, UNFPA, and the governments of Canada are at an event which is moderated by girls, and which is taking up the theme of this International Day, the digital generation, our generation. And you have already mentioned something of the gap that exists. And while our colleague, Dr. Roland Roberts was speaking about the marvelous strides that have been made, and yes, and I want to say we need men and boys, not just to be our champions, but to be our allies. So I endorse all that he said and recognize it. And he speaks to excellence in terms of promoting girls and women. But we all know that there is a digital divide. And today's issue at the United Nations was actually addressing this from the perspective of girls. Now, the Day of the Girl came about in 2010 as a result of a resolution of the General Assembly and celebrated on October 11. And it's preceded by 11 days of action. And this is where I wonder if YOUTHGETHER was aware of this 11 days of action, mostly a social media campaign, again facilitated with regard from the Working Group on Girls. And the 11 days of action, different organizations undertake to take up the day, promote the day, and provide the material for the day. And you see there the list right up until even today, there's an event going on apart from the United Nations. And the Working Group on Girls, in some senses, has been pivotal in terms of it having preceded Beijing in 1995, the Women's Conference. It preceded that and has continued to evolve according to what has been happening at the United Nations. And originally, it was an NGO committee of UNICEF, part of that, the Working Group on Girls. And then it emerged as an entity in its own right in 2012. And it focuses, as Denise said earlier, in terms of the Beijing Declaration and Platform for Action, with 12 critical areas, and I listed them there with the focus on the girl child. the last. And it was the WGG that gave rise to this and ensured that that platform was in the critical areas. And the areas then that are elaborated under the girl child are listed again. There's 9 there, incorporating all that we've said: violence against girls, getting rid of negative and cultural attitudes and practices. And indeed, much of what we heard this morning, I would like to say that what we didn't talk about and what is our greatest obstacle is the systems and structures that are the carriers of these negative cultural attitudes and practices, and the carriers of all forms of discrimination. And that is the most, I think, critical area that we need to continue to address. Only last week, I was on the floor of the shareholders annual meeting with Tesla, which is a big corporate giant that sources minerals from, among other countries, the Democratic Republic of Congo, and we heard Grace speak to that. What were we trying to do? We were trying to introduce a resolution on human rights, that Tesla would implement human rights. And what do they say before they invite me to speak? They say, we propose to our board members to vote against this. So this is the real work. We must engage in terms of the systems and structures that dehumanize. And when those systems and structures dehumanize, girls are the first to be impacted. And we've heard all that. We heard Dr. Minnie Murthy speak about the very basic necessity for a sanitary pad to enhance dignity. And during this week, what are we hearing in terms of technology? We're hearing from Facebook and we're hearing from Instagram, and how girls feel worse when they consume the products offered by this giant in the social media field. So while yes, we want digital access and it has many positives, we have to be very conscious of the negative impacts of these platforms and how vulnerable our girls are. The human trafficking report issued in 2020, just last year, indicated that, imagine saying, children are easy targets to be trafficked. And much of this is happening online. And much of it has happened through the exploitation of pornography and the easy access of porn materials, exploiting children, sexually exploiting children online. I know that we're short of time. You have this PowerPoint. UNICEF launched their plan in terms of 25 years of progress. And yes, there has been progress. We have new leadership at UN Women with Mrs. Sima Bahous, who is the executive director, the new executive director, coming from the mission of the Kingdom of Jordan to the United Nations. And I had the honor of being a panelist with her during the high-level panel event a few years ago, where we were talking about girls and the Sustainable Development Goals. So I have a renewed optimism that girls will become front and center in UN Women. I just want to maybe conclude with the moving forward. We can look back. I've highlighted my red areas for you, my red lines in terms of the systems and structures. But we do have this moment, which has come from Beijing to 2020 in the terms of the Generation Equality Forum, which was launched in Paris in June of this year. There's 6 action coalitions. Now, we fought at WGG, along with other organizations, long and hard to have girls' voices represented here. And the best we could do was to actually have the girls that are associated with the working group on girls write an open letter to world leaders. That was the nearest we got in terms of having a voice in this moment. The action coalitions are headed up by, which always call, by UN Women, civil society is there, governments are invited to collaborate, but the private sector is in there. And we need to watch when the private sector is engaged, whose rights are being upheld and whose rights are being exploited. And lastly, but not least, political will. I am also a proponent of social protection floors. Part of the right of every person to social protection, income, health, child allowance, and pensions across all areas, unemployment benefits. It's a right. It's enshrined in the Universal Declaration of Rights. And yet, a few years ago, at the International Labour Organization in Geneva, where UNICEF were trying to bring in the notion of universal child benefits and how that would empower our girls to have a benefit, an income whereby they could get the products needed for their own personal self-care and to go to school and not to be labored with household work and all of the forced labor that continues throughout the cycle of being a girl, married early, more housework, and then a girl can be a mother and a widow and still be a child herself. That's carried in the systems and structures. And one positive way to address this, I am convinced, is universal child benefits. And the political will does not exist for this. Now, we do have an action coalition on economic justice and rights. Well, I think it's in there. A coalition on ending violence against gender-based violence. Well, girls suffer from that. Feminist action. Look at the girls and the power of girls around the world and the power of girls we've heard on this program this morning. I will stop there. Thank you. Thank you, Princess.
Thank you very much, Dr. Winfred. This is so packed. This is so packed. You practically have made it even not easy for us to try and engage, giving us everything that we need to hear, that we need to interact with. And I do believe that we will be somehow, if possible, can we have this presentation shared to us as the youth gather as well, so that we work collaboratively together. Now on to panelist Dr. Dan Kenley, so that you can give us an introduction and what do you have today for us, for our girls. And happy Day of a Girl Child to everybody. Thank you. Dr. Diana. Your Excellency.
I think she's out. Take another person because time is running.
Yes. If do we have Her Excellency Ambassador Dr. Teresa Martin?
Not in.
Not there. Ms. Johnson, please give us your introduction of who you are and then also just briefly what you have for us today on this wonderful day, the day that should be celebrated just about daily.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Well, good day. I'm not sure what time you guys are all in, but yes, my name is Sharon Johnson and I am a bachelor student, and I just want to say happy International Day of the Girl Child to all of you. I just have something to say really that I want to share with you all. My own experience, I just want to say it's an honor and privilege to speak with you all today. So when I was first invited to speak here, I must say I wasn't sure what to expect, but even so, I saw the team and, it's something that was so dear to me. And so I just want to go a little bit off of that. First off, again, I want to salute all the girls worldwide in this day, because as we know, girls all around the world face many different challenges. And as we continue to move forward in this day and age, the digital gender app is also, more and more highlighted. So we have to provide girls and empower and equip them with the necessary tools to navigate this digital age, and that will become synonymous to not only opening doors to many different opportunities for them, but also preparing them to be leaders of today. I think personally, this is the main takeaway, especially looking at the state of today's world. So the question and the topic that we looked at and that we've all been looking at is how to empower girls, how to let them realize their power and their potential to tackle the realities of today and to overcome and be a part and move forward in today's digital age. First off, girls, all of us, we need to be supported and encouraged to pursue any area that we choose, and especially the ones where we are underrepresented, such as STEM. So in order to change the route of things, we need to first see how girls can be empowered, and this is by equipping them, of course, with education and providing them with the equal opportunities to excel and to be productive and to be contributing citizens of today. They should be supported in order to realize their full potential and become productive and contributing citizens in society. A major issue that I see in my own country for girls and for women is underrepresentation. There's an underrepresentation of women in politics and leadership positions, and we have to combat that by, of course, getting girls involved. This lack of involvement starts young and is a result of a lack of opportunities and resources. We need to take these girls by the hand and support them and provide them with the necessary opportunities as they grow to recognize their potential and their value and their work. I have 3 sisters. I come from a household of largely girls, and it has become more and more important for me to have, and for them to have, representation and to see girls and women like us in these positions. My grandma recently took a bold step and ventured out into the world of politics and became our capital city's first female mayor. She faced a lot of resistance and challenges, as many believed that such a position was not fit for women in today's day. But still, she persevered, and this was very inspiring for me and my sisters to witness, especially as we had been a part of her whole journey towards mayorship. And I took away one main thing from all that. It taught me that women and girls they can take up space. And this, of course, changed how I viewed my own potential. And I realized that there is power in representation. And it is such an important thing for girls to have women leaders to look up to. It is important that we see ourselves and envision ourselves for greatness. It is important that our ambitions are stimulated and encouraged. It is important that we can look within and find power within ourselves. Or girls, we need to be equipped with proper life skills training and given every opportunity to move forward successfully and productively in our world today. But to do so, we have to work together to alleviate all these disparities that exist for young girls and for women alike. So the main thing that we must face, it's a matter of partnership and humanity and being there for one another. We must find it in ourselves to help each other and support one another. And that is the main thing that I wanted to share with you all today: representation, having girls become involved. And, that's something personal to me, having witnessed it and been a part of my grandmother's journey towards becoming mayor for a city, which was a big step in how I see myself and how I think all other girls should start seeing themselves, realizing that they can and seeing their own potential. So once again, I want to thank you all for the opportunity to speak today. And once again, happy International Day of the Girl Child to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ms. Johnson. I think very valid points that you are putting there. we will go to Her Excellency Ambassador Dr. Dan Kenley. The stage is yours, ma'am.
Hi, thank you for having me on this panel. Happy International Day of the Girl Child. It is really great to be here and just to be with you and to see all the young people that are lending their voices to this day. I might have missed the question, but I'm just going to share maybe 5 or 6 things that I think are so key for us to remember. If there was a message I would give to you here today would be, number 1, cultivate what is inside of you. Nothing is more important than that. Your content matters. So cultivate what is inside of you. Find out what you like to do and do that thing. Develop yourself in that. The second thing that I would want you to consider is, what role do you want to play? What role do you want to play? We have the benefit of seeing what has been done by so many amazing women. So what role do you want to play? This means that, number 1, do not give in to anyone else's definition of who they think you should be, right? You can define your own narrative. It is so key. It is so empowering. It is so powerful. Define your own narrative. Then, how do you want to show up in the world that is completely different from anyone else? How do you want to show up? And I think every speaker today has mentioned how important it is to have good female role models. So key. There is so much that we can learn from those that have gone before us. Do not be afraid to go against what is the norm, right? Ask as many things as you need to. Amplify your voices. Follow your dreams. Follow your dreams. The third thing is, those who are parents, those of us who have got any level of leverage where we get to come into these meetings, I would say, parents, make your home somewhere where the young can develop their self-confidence. That is the beginning place. We have to go back to the basics. And what we do there is literally empower them to use and to share their thoughts, what they are thinking, what they would like to do. That is how we begin to develop our confidence. The next thing is that lead with empathy and love. Nothing more empowering than that. Fourth thing is, teach these young minds that they are here to lead, and make room for them to now know what it is that they have been uniquely brought into this world to do, and teach them how to lead. Let us make room for them to lead. You get to lead well when you are around others that are also leading. That's how you learn how to lead, right? And then let us begin to talk about those women that have done well. So let's begin to remind the young of those of where they have come from, right? There is legacy. Remind them of what that is. Legacy is so key. That is going to remind them of who they are and who they can be. And then finally, let us begin to read together, because leaders are readers, and reading means listening. Listening is so key. And that's all I have to share. I didn't want to take too much time, but thank you once again for this amazing platform, and happy 1-year anniversary to YOUTHGETHER Global. Looking to what the next 10 years is going to be like. Just amazing work that you are all doing here. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much. Those are such powerful nuggets that we have heard from our Governing Council member of YOUTHGETHER Global, Dr. Ambassador Dan Kenley. So that I can give way and make a room on our table, as she has mentioned, that we need to bring these on the table. We need to make room. So I'm making room as it is so that they can interact with these powerful women that have already met the path for us, so that we are reminded that all things are possible. And once we know that Dr. Winfred has done it, and we know that even from these parts of the world in Africa, doesn't matter where we come from, we too can have a role, can make a space, and can have a significant role in the world. Tseho, what question do you have for our panelists? You have heard they have put what their roles, where they are from, and from as a young girl, probably this is your first time to be on this international stage, I assume, and this is your chance. Perhaps if things were still in the olden way, we wouldn't be. So let us hear a question from you.
Good evening, Ms. Winifred Zahirti. My question is, in the Decade of Action, what are the planned programs that are to involve the girl child? Thank you.
This is Teho. Where are you from? Tell us, where are you from?
I am from Krugersdorp, South Africa. I am currently going to Krugersdorp High School.
Thank you so much, Winfred. First question.
Can you repeat the question for me, Princess, please?
Right. She says, in this decade of action, what are the planned programs to involve the girl child in your space?
Thank you very much, Mopo, for your question, and apologies if I asked to have it repeated because you broke up a little bit. So anyway, I have the question straight. So engaging the girl child in the decade of action in the spaces that I am in. Obviously, we have today the International Day for Girls, but we move from that to very quickly preparing for the Commission on the Status of Women, which is run by UN Women. It's part of their responsibilities. And the Working Group on Girls, of which I am a member, we try to, from today on, engage girls in getting ready for and to be able to write a statement and present an oral statement at the Commission on the Status of Women, where all the governments of the world collect. Is the biggest gathering of women that takes place throughout the United Nations. And it's even bigger than the opening of the General Assembly because of the women who come. And the Working Group on Girls has continuously had girls to the fore with girls orientation, girls statement writing, girls engaging in panels, girls bringing forward girls issues. So that's that. And then we move from that in March to following up on the role of the girl child and her rights and responsibilities with regard to the Sustainable Development Goals. And it's in there in SDG 5, which has to do with gender equality. But nowhere will we find girls much mentioned throughout the whole program, the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. But girls are affected by poverty. They're affected by lack of access to nutrition, healthcare, education. There's the first 4 goals, all to do with girls and girls' rights. So moving from March to July, trying to bring forward girls and girls' issues in the Sustainable Development Goals. And then in July, we're back into, again, the whole issue of the International Day. And let me say also that there are other moments when, if I know that we can have access to somebody like you who can easily prepare a statement and bring it forward at trafficking events, at ending violence, in poverty events, wherever. Like if we know that we have these resources and girls from different parts of the world, particularly Africa and Asia and Latin America, we need those girls at the United Nations speaking their own truth, and the Working Group on Girls facilitates that. So I would encourage you, step number 1, why not join the Working Group on Girls and attend the monthly meeting on the first Thursday of every month. And there you will be updated. And indeed that the whole of the association that we're speaking with today to be engaged and know what's happening at the United Nations, and then that your voices can be brought there. I was very happy today, and I'll end here. I keep saying I'll end. I was very happy today when my organization, Good Shepherd Sisters, had Fatima as one of the moderators on the Girls Speak Out. This is what I'm talking about. So next time, why not me call on you, Mojo, to be the girl moderator? So the spaces are there. Join the Working Group on Girls, and we will ensure that those spaces are there. And I will follow you personally. Okay, thank you.
Can I add something, if okay?
Yes, please.
Yes, I'm so glad that you brought up that to us, is that one of the things that we have been facing, especially with our African community where we are working, is that we were not raised up to speak out or to share our struggles. I would say from my own experience that even our own families or mothers, they were not open up to us to share with us the inside of how we can share our struggles. Now, what we have been also trying to look for is also how our girls can have that opportunity and platform, and in the African Girls Foundation, trying to have a synergy of girls from different communities. Let me say from my area of work in Kenya and Democratic Republic of Congo, and we bring the 2 countries together, 2 different girls from different cultures, and then we teach how we can speak out. Our girls should be open up and share their struggles so that we understand deeper and bring all those issues together and teach them on how not to be quiet, but to share so that we can know how to help. So my colleague, Winfred, I would love for some of our girls who are now opening up to us and speak, if they can be part of your program, so that they get also that platform to share what they've been going through. Thank you.
Right. Was that a question, Grace, or you were adding on the comments?
No, I was commenting on my colleague.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. And I would like to say also to Dr. Winfred, through YouthGether Global, we will definitely be taking up on the offer to be involved. And would also like to mention that here in South Africa, we have the South African Princess Network, which is where all the royals and all the traditional leaders, all the princesses have come together, particularly when we deal with women issues, the agenda of women and the agenda of girls. And as we know, the scourge and the challenges that we face here in Africa, they may be different from what in the West they are facing. So we have heard you, and we are going to definitely come to you with that, and also showcasing on even making it practical, the sustainable goal number 17, which is why we hear you, because it talks about partnership and collaboration, and so that we can be able to achieve these goals. Let us go to Dr. Diana. We have heard the girls. How do we access YouthGether Global? And what do they have for us as the girls, the young girls? Perhaps others, is their first time to hear about YouthGether Global. Dr. Diana. You are muted, ma'am.
So one of the things that I would recommend is that wherever they're located to reach out, I think, to a YouthGether Global representative. And so we need to make that accessible to them. I don't know if you're able to put the YouthGether Global email in the chat as well, so that people can be able to reach out. With YouthGether, we've got the four E's that we are working on, which is empowerment, education, entrepreneurship. And now I'm gonna pull a Dr. Ada here. I forget what the fourth one is. Empowerment, education, entrepreneurship. There's the 4 E's program.
And exchange program.
Exchange, thank you so much. So each of those, we have got our events that are done every year. So become part of those. Learn alongside us. I don't know if that helps to answer your question. Something else that I would like to say is that don't wait for permission to lead. I have every single thing I have ever done, I have never waited for anyone to give me permission to do anything. Find what you love to do, what you are passionate about, and begin to do that thing. And serve wherever you are. Serving is the way to begin leading well. So look for where you can lend whatever you are doing. And then above everything else, work every day and ask yourself, how am I developing myself today to become much better? Because it is how you develop yourself every day that is going to help you become a better version of yourself, so that you can serve your community, your nation, and the world. So definitely be thinking about those things.
Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. I think we all have heard. We even have our socials as well, where they can all follow us. Let me come to you, Ms. Johnson. We have seen the coalitions, and I don't know if it is me, but I missed the academic institutions. What are your comments on that? What would you recommend? That there definitely is a role from the academic institutions. Here we are also talking about education and access to quality education, leaving nobody behind. Your comments, ma'am.
Hi again, everyone. Yes, so we know that a part of empowering girls is through education. We have been saying that. And I think that academic institutions, they also have a big role to play, especially here in Belize. They need to find ways to empower girls to not only enroll more, but also so that they can use that academic platform for their voices to be heard. So I am from the University of Belize, and I think that as university students, we have a responsibility to maybe form youth groups and stuff so that we can empower one another. And I think that's one of the routes that we can go using academics and academic institutions for one another.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. We'd like to so that the high school ones, the girls in the high school, they already have a big sister in you at the university level, and they know that this chain, so that we make ourselves not to stay in for longer. Here in Africa, we are very renowned as leaders to stay our welcome to overstand. So let us go to the next question. We have a question. Katleho, can you hear me?
Princess, you have just 2 minutes for this session.
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, you have a question for us, for the panelists.
Yes, I do. So Working Group on Girls is an NGO committee working for girls with girls at the United Nations. What are the achievements of your working group so far? What are the areas of improvement?
Thank you, Catharello, for your question. I think the areas of achievement have been that girls from around the world have actually had a platform at which to speak truth to power. And as I had said, whether that is at CSW or in today's event, I was looking before the event began, and not alone had I a girl from India on this panel, but the Grail, who are another member organization, they had a girl from Mozambique. So bringing girls' voices. Now, I also want to say that advocacy work at the United Nations is not easy. And it's very difficult to see practical change on any particular day. But I have been here since 2008 in this role, representing my organization. And I have seen huge strides in terms of girls accessing the UN and speaking at events. And then the key is, we cannot leave it there. I depend on my organization, and if you were present, I'd be depending on you to bring the message home and begin small groups of girls talking to girls, with girls, for girls around these issues, building empowerment at the local level. And on Saturday night from Malaysia, I was part of a group where my organization and girls throughout Asia Pacific had come together, and they were going to launch from girl to girl with girls, a grouping and a sponsorship, so that girls without access to technology would be able to have the cell phone or the iPad or whatever is necessary, together with providing access to the internet, so that they can be empowered. But in doing that, you're also talking about building the girls' self-awareness, doing much of what Ambassador Diane has just said in terms of the girls' own ability to speak, bringing their voice, empowering them, and not waiting for somebody to urge them on, but taking the leadership. So yes, we do our part, and I invite you to be part of bringing the girls' voice to the people in power. But I also challenge you to go back. And I think this is what this group is all about, trying to empower girls at the local level with your various organizations working, whether it's in terms of the academic field or the practical field, but ensuring that girls are there. And as I say, like I think Diane has brought to the fore very much, it's girls' innate capacity needs to be released. It's already there. They need the permission. They need to be invited. Do it, girls. And to do it according to the way that she has outlined. Thank you.
Thank you thank you for that question, for that answer, very elaborative. And right now we have come to the conclusion of our panel discussion. It has been in conversation, very interesting. We have learned, it's been very informative, it's been very empowering. All our panelists, thank you so much. Thank you to Dr. Doherty, thank you to Ms. Johnson, to Her Excellency Ambassador Dr. Dan Kenley. Thank you to my co-host, and thank you to all that have commented, to all that have participated. Let us keep on doing this. Let us keep on doing it. This is not the last. This is just the beginning of our journey, and happy girl child to everybody. Right now, I would like to throw the mic back or take the mic back across the Atlantic to Dr. Padmini Murthy. Thank you very much for allowing us this discussion. Thank you so much. From me in South Africa, it's thank you.
Thank you so much. From me in New York to all of you, that was a fabulous panel. Thank you so much, Madam Moderator, Princess. Look forward to working with you beyond this. Thank you, Winifred. You're always amazing. I mean, I'm not saying it because Winifred is my friend and colleague for so many years, but it's so nice that we all believe in this. Thank you all. This was so great. Thank you, Dr. Diana. And now it is my distinct privilege, ladies and gentlemen, to introduce our esteemed colleague who's such an inspiration to all of us, Her Excellency Ambassador Victoria Suleimani, who is the DPR of the mission of Sierra Leone to the UN. And I would like to extend my heartfelt thank you, and also on behalf of my partner in crime, Dr. Ada, to Her Excellency, because whenever we call her, she comes. She's a true supporter of women. Thank you so much, Your Excellency, for all the work you do, and the floor is now yours. Thank you, ma'am.
Good afternoon. Can you all hear me?
Sure.
Good afternoon, everyone. And I want to say I'm really delighted to be part of this conversation. Thanks to Dr. Ada. She will just tell me in the morning, Ambassador, come and talk at the International Day of the Girl Child. I said, wow, you just want me to go and talk like that? I haven't prepared any statement. At least I have something to say to this noble group. And I have listened to most of the conversations by the young people. And this was no mistake that the UN did, that they had to declare an International Day for the girl child, or the girl, the International Day for the girl, in resolution 66170. That decision, I believe, was rooted in the Beijing Declaration and Platform for Action, where one of the 12 critical areas of concern on that platform is the girl child. We are looking at the necessity of acknowledging the challenges that the girls around the world face, and the need for them to enjoy their fundamental human rights. You know, before now, when we say human rights, maybe we are just talking about the right to life, the right to food. But one fundamental right that has just, that has become so conspicuous is the right to education. And then when COVID-19 struck, we saw that the right to education, if it's not treated decisively, especially inclusive education, there was going to be problems because we all found ourselves automatically in front of either, that is, if you have access to it, either you are in front of your cell phone, you are in front of your laptop, or whatever device you need to make for you to be connected. So this was going to be a problem. So that declaration and the theme for this year's International Day of the Girl Child is very, very relevant. It cannot be overemphasized because it says digital generation, our generation. This is the digital generation. Everybody has to come on board. Boys and girls, men and women. We are preparing for the fourth industrial. Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, Your Excellency, please go ahead. We can hear you.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. I thought Dr. Ada was saying something. Okay, so as we gear towards the fourth industrial revolution, and we look at the realities in the corporate world, where especially where if you look at the statistics of the women CEOs as opposed to the men CEOs, you're seeing that more men CEOs in the ICT world or the ICT industry. You have more men in the ICT companies that are CEOs of those companies and less women. So if you trace the origin, you are going to trace it to education, the education of the girl child, the access that the girl child had to all these technologies. And then COVID-19 opened all our eyes to the realities of the fact that the pre-existing inequalities have been exacerbated by the COVID-19 restrictions. Girls suffered more, women suffered more, either because they were forced to be locked in with their abusers, or, you know, somewhere the teenage pregnancy increased, girl-child marriage increased. So all of these realities have confronted us. So my question here is, how do we narrow this gap? Because if we say we are closing the gap, it's not like automatic, but we can do as best as possible. I am looking at the digital divide in the rural communities, the digital divide in the urban slums, because not everyone has access to the digital or internet facilities. Even in a community that I have adopted back in Sierra Leone, I am dealing with a community, and this is why I'm really here to flag this campaign of the digit girl child, so that they can get digital literacy in those communities. All of our girls in the rural slums or in the rural communities, and the urban slums or in the rural communities, they were out of school because the reality and the restrictions that the pandemic puts upon us could not allow them to be in physical classroom. And if you are not in physical classroom, then you have to be in the virtual classroom, and there was no access for learning for most of our girls. Some are now pregnant, some are, they are going to be married, even ahead of the time that they had ever planned to be married. So we have to look at ways how to close this gap in the digital, how we can narrow. So first and foremost, I was looking at resources for digital literacy. You provide the resources. The funding is one, and then even the access to the devices that they use, or even access to internet connectivity in those rural areas. Because even if you have the cell phone and people are buying data, by the time, like in my own country, you buy data, you talk for a few hours, the data run out. So you cannot have access to the quality of education that you deserve. And I tell everybody for a fact, in the fourth industrial revolution, if digital literacy is not available to everybody, to both male and female, the boy and the girl, the adolescent girls that will find themselves in the next 10, 15 years to come, they will find it difficult to get decent work. And that is just another SDG that has not been respected. So this is why we need SDG 17 has brought all of us together. We need these partnerships. We need to advocate. We need to look at all of the sustainable development goals one by one, especially the one that focuses on the empowering women, gender equality and women's empowerment. We are talking about 20 years, okay, 26 years now since Beijing was adopted. We are talking about 21 years since the Women, Peace and Security resolution was adopted by the Security Council. We just celebrated last year the 10th anniversary of UN Women, the entity that is responsible for gender equality and women's empowerment. This year, we are talking about 6 years of the existence of UN Women. We have to come together, consolidate our efforts to deliver on all those goals that we have adopted or that we have committed ourselves to. We have to make sure these goals are implemented. So my message here is for the Mokebi community. It's a local community that I have adopted. I can see Dr. Ada's mouth moving. Yeah, okay. So when I went to that community, I went there with one message. I went there as a preacher. I am an ambassador, but I am also a preacher, a local preacher. And I saw the need for education, because if you want to breed effective evangelists, they have to be educated enough to read the Bible. And then I took education to that village. So how are you going to narrow this gap? Resources for digital literacy, and then you focus more on inclusive education in the classroom. You make the teachers, the teaching and the learning your targets. Why are you making the teachers your target? Because you have to train them, train the trainers. If the teachers are not educated in ICT, how are they going to teach the children? Then you focus on the teaching. Why are you focusing on the teaching? The quality of education. You want to make sure they teach the things that the children want to, that they are supposed to gain access to, not to expose them to cyber crime, all this online crime that they commit against, especially the girl child. These teachers have to be trained along those lines. And then you have to focus on even the materials. Provide the cell phones or the laptops or the desktop computers that these communities will need. But how can you provide all of this when poverty is biting deep? That is another SDG that has to be addressed. Eliminate poverty, zero poverty in 2030. So how do we do it? Advocacy, like we are coming here, we make appeal, those in the private sector, the UN agencies, the whole of the international community, business, people who are owners of big businesses that can really donate towards these kind of actions to make sure the girl child is empowered. So the choice of this theme for this year's International Day of the Girl Child cannot be more relevant. It is really very relevant because this is the the digital generation, our generation. I have a short message for everyone here today. My focus or my message is girls in rural communities, girls in urban slums. They all deserve the right to their inherent potentials, their skills and their talents. We must get them on board this flight of the digital, this digital flight that has taken off. We must get everybody on board this flight because we are just in the second, it's not too late. We are still in the second decade of the decade of action for the SDGs. They say the second year is coming to an end. So let us make this our focus, that every girl should be on board this flight. I am bringing this to you because I am dealing with a community that has zero access. They are not my families. They just happen to be communities that I saw and I thought they should be empowered. The girl child must be empowered. This is 26 years since Beijing was adopted. So that is my message. My message is not long because I really didn't have it. So thank you, Dr. Ada, for putting my message on the screen. So that is the message. That should be the takeaway for everybody on this platform. And I want to thank you, Dr. Ada, for the opportunity to participate in this discussion that I really didn't plan for, but I'm happy that I am here to add my voice to this conversation. If you invite me tomorrow, I will come again. I always want to be part of this discussion. And I really want to appreciate all those presenters, those young people. I have learned a lot. Nobody's ever old to learn. We are here to empower our women. Let us empower our girls. When you empower a girl, you have just empowered an adolescent girl who will be participating in the fourth industrial revolution. We are living in a digital world. If we deprive them, they are not going to be employed because most of the jobs will be posted online. If you don't have access to the internet, how are you going to be the next DSG of the United Nations? How are you going to be the SG? Most of those girls in those communities will have potentials to sit here at the United Nations at the highest level, at the highest management level. But if we don't empower them now as we speak, let us go into action now and make sure every girl has access to these information and communication technologies that we are talking about. Send a tweet on social media. Send a message on Facebook about a digital trailblazer young girl in America and how she's doing her stuff on the internet. And then compare it to that girl in that local community, Mokebi, that has zero access. And then people's eyes will be open to the reality. Not that people don't know, but when you begin to make the comparisons, that people will become more aware. Let us tweet, let us do WhatsApp, let us do Facebook, and you know, display this, let them see the disparity in the community. So this is my short message. I don't want to belabor the point. The girl child must be empowered. It is now a right and not a privilege. I thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much, Ambassador. That was so inspiring. And thank you for your message. And thank you for taking time from your busy schedule to be with us. Before I call upon our next speaker, there is somebody I would like to acknowledge on behalf of Dr. Ada and myself is former ambassador of Grenada to the UN, Ambassador Antoine, who has been such a champion for girls and women. And thank you so much, Ambassador Antoine, for everything you do and you know, being a voice for the NGOs and women and girls, and even in your new role. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you, Ambassador Antoine. Ada, would you like to say something before
Please
I call
give Ambassador a minute to say something.
Yeah, thank you. Ambassador, the floor is yours, sir.
Well, good afternoon from where I am. And it was not my intention to speak, but to listen. I am very pleased to hear the voices. All I need to say is girls have power. We need to release it. We need to harness and release it. We need a girls to women project. We need action steps. We need less words and more action. And we need a report card and benchmarks so that we can identify where we have started and where we are. We need to make sure that when we speak truth to power, remember the powerless is like throwing water in ducks' back. Therefore, we need to ensure that our young women, I have 5 sisters. I am encouraging Dr. Ada to continue to work on the plan of action for YOUTHGETHER. And this plan of action should clearly define some benchmarks and action steps going from here to where. I really thank you. I want to continue to listen. And I think this is a real uplifting and wonderful program to hear the many experts and voices of committed people. I thank you very much.
Thank you, Ambassador Antoine, as usual, for your words of wisdom. We appreciate that, and we will call upon you, sir, for your wisdom. Thank you. And now I would like to call upon Professor Igbo, who is our next speaker. Over to you. The floor is yours. Thank you. Dr. Ada?
Dr. Star, can you, is she available?
Yeah, is she available?
She was here. I saw her
Yeah.
here. I don't know.
Yeah, that's why.
Can you get back to her?
Yes, definitely. Maybe I just page her.
Thank you all for your patience and understanding, because this is a program without walls. We are from so many regions with internet connectivity issues. So, you know, I would now, while we're waiting, request Dr. Ada Okika to take the floor. Thank you, Ada.
Thank you, my partner in crime, Dr. Mini. We've been so much long time in this business together, and I'm also proud that we are one whenever there is need for us to come together, especially when it comes to issues concerning women and girls. I remember one of the times I was just on website, suddenly the launch we did at the UN on my sister's health watch came out. And I remembered our conversation. And thanks to His Excellency Ambassador Dennis Antoine for being the champion to advise and guide us in, I think 2014, that's a long time. A girl that was born in 2000 and who is now moving to be a teenage girl. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Winifred. I'm very happy that you're able to be here, remembering all your efforts in ensuring that working group of girls with our late friend and sister, Beth Adams. It pains me whenever I remember the day of the girl child and Beth is not here with us. So I just want us to take a minute of silence to immortalize Beth Adams.
Thank you so much, Ada.
I
Really
just need a minute to remember Beth for all her efforts, for what she's done to girl child, and it's been a moment of history down the road that we can't wipe her name whenever we mention the day of the girl child and the working group of girls.
Thank
if
you,
the
Ada.
next speaker has not come in, I can make my presentation. Thank you.
Ada, thank you so much. I think we all owe a big debt of gratitude to Beth for her passion and compassion. And wherever you are, Beth, I'm sure you're looking down upon us and helping us redouble our efforts in helping girls. Thank you. Over to you, Ada.
Thank you so much. It's been a very wonderful and interesting conversation and discussions from the girls, from girl child advocates, from those who are into global issues, and also to the Ambassador Victoria Suleiman. In fact, I got her to speak at this event at 4 a.m. When I saw she was awake, I followed her and said, you just have to come in. And I'm very pleased that she was able to come in and be able to flag off our campaign on Digit Girl Child of YouthGether Global. So we thank you, Ambassador. I know she must have run out to go for her meeting at the UN. When we look at this year's theme on the girl child, something asked me, what is really our generation for the girl child? A generation where girls are abused in early age, violated, denied access to education and human rights, good health, social welfare? Is it a generation where girls are still subjected to ancient practices, forced marriage, family economic resource, female genital mutilation, abandonment? Is it a generation where girls are not given the opportunity to explore their global opportunity on grounds of protection? Or a generation where girls must be left behind in all issues of global development, moving only the boys forward, keeping the girls behind? I am a girl who experienced family interest in growing up. I was, as a teenager, bestowed on responsibility over all my siblings. I was not allowed to marry far away from my home because I have to be near home to ensure the family is in place and ensure my siblings are positioned to the family values. I was given an opportunity to education at the highest level. I remember when I graduated with my first degree, suitors were coming, but my late dad insisted I must have graduate education before I leave his house. I grew up in a family where I was given full opportunity to grow to full-fledged woman. I am what I think I am today because of these opportunities. I had opportunities as responsible, bestowing on me as the responsibility of a girl child, and also understanding that I have to be empowered to be a woman. We need to give girls ample opportunity to be what God delights in them. The global warming is moving so fast. We need girls in first career, STEM career, technology, engineering, mathematics, in great number in order to actualize what all we intend in our gender drive on generation equality. We cannot just be talking about generation equality without setting the pace for the growing girls to be where they want to be. The COVID-19 has given us opportunity to consider digital world. Thank God, we all try to look at the dangers, that the harmful aspect or the negative side of COVID-19. But what about the positive side? COVID-19 has also brought us to a digital world. Without COVID-19, me and you will not be here. A princess from South Africa will not be here. Sharon from Belize will not be here. And so other from Nigeria, So we are into a digital world as a thanks to COVID-19. And this is time now to reposition girls in developing countries to align themselves to the positive knowledge about the digital world. Time is now to bring out the girls from the rural communities to explore their global potentials. Time is now to encourage the girl child to a global education, allowing her to be able to connect with her peers across the border. Time is now to provide an enabling environment for the girl child to grow. In spite of the fact that my parents gave me a responsibility for my early child as girl of the family, but I was brought up in an enabling environment to make me a full-fledged woman. Most girls in the rural communities don't have this opportunity across developing countries. And we need to explore into that. Thank God to the digital world that is now in place. Myself and Dr. Mini have moved an initiative under the leadership of His Excellency Ambassador Dennis Lantoine, while as a Vice President of UN General Assembly 69 section, on my sister's health watch. Through this digital world, the girls can be educated to handle their health issues through telemedicine, reaching out to their health provider anywhere they are to ask questions about their health, ask questions about their circles, ask questions that is biting them in their self about their health. that they cannot even tell their parents. Mind you that most of these girls also lost their mom, and they might not have someone to share their pregnant issues. So with the digital world, we can now encourage them, make use of telemedicine to ask your health questions, health concerns. Reach out to groups of girls, like being part of the working group of girls. They can join through digital connection. They don't have to get visa to come to UN to be part of it every Thursday. They can join and begin to read minutes, resources, information from the working group of girls at the United Nations. It is true that YOUTHGETHER Global found it necessary that at this particular day, in honor of our first anniversary, and in honor to our girl Promise from Nigeria, who graduated at an excellent level from the Nigerian Academy School, to flag a campaign on Digit the Girl Child. Digit Girl Child. We need to digit girl child. We need to tell the girl that the digital world is a place of knowledge, a place for them to learn, a place for them to do partnership, to network, a place for them to be able to reach out to solve their personal issues, a place for them to connect to one another. With this initiative, the YOUTHGETHER Global is ready to get on board to girls. Just as Ambassador Victoria Suleimani said about the girls in Mokebi community. You know, any community that has no church, of course, has no school, because religion comes with education. And you can imagine what kind of life the girls in that community are. We need to educate the girls on how to protect themselves so that they will stop being abused, violated, and be used for unnecessary rituals. In most rural communities, a lot of girls are being missing. They don't know where they are. Parents cannot locate them. Nobody can hear their whereabouts. Nobody knows what has happened to them. The girls are being subjected to a lot of vulnerabilities. And we need to talk about not only giving them family protection in order to maintain the family ego, but giving the girl self-protection. So with this digit girl child, they will be able to reach out and learn about themselves. Education starts with me. And if I am not knowledgeable about myself, I cannot be able to learn about others. And that is the purpose of this little girl. Let's give girls the opportunity to improve on their social well-being, be able to exchange peer education across borders, use their intellectual property, and develop their inherent potentials. I thank you.
Thank you so much, Ada, my friend, my sister from another mother. Thank you for your passion, your work. And well, you just said Her Excellency Ambassador Soleimani came. She came because of you, because of how you get all of us, like, you know, you push us gently but firmly to get results. So thank you so much. I would like to know if Professor Ego is online, or we move on and I turn it over to Dr. Diane for the next panel she's moderating.
She's here. Professor Igbo is here.
Thank you so much.
Igbo.
Thank you so much. Over to you, Professor Igbo. And thank you again for accommodating us. And my apologies for the slight flub of your name. It was inadvertent. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Dr. Mini. Thank you.
Don't worry, you're growing.
Otherwise, you will pull me.
Hello, everyone. I'm glad to be with you. Thank you for having me. I say congratulations to YOUTHGETHER for this anniversary. And I agree with my sister who said girls should be celebrated every day, not just one day in the year. That is very true. Well, in Nigeria, well, the girls are doing well, the youths. When I talk about youths, I don't like separating the girls from the boys because it is very important that we look at them together. But I know that today is a day for the girls. In Nigeria, we have a policy already running. They call it gender policy for some of these things. But it is not just to have the policy. The issue is, are we really doing what we should be doing? The girl child, the youth is very vibrant in this part of the world. They want to represent themselves. They want to do what they think they should be doing, but what they need is enabling environment. The environment, for the most part, it's kind of harsh for the youth who wants to excel, who wants to grow, who wants to be at the right place, who wants to make progress. The environment is harsh in many ways, which we cannot enumerate now. It is not any more news that we have a lot of terrorism in Nigeria. But the youth is still struggling to make it. The girl child is struggling. And in many parts of Nigeria, the girl child has overshot the tape so that you have more girls educated than boys. But in some parts, you still have a lower percentage of the population of educated or literate people as the girls. And that is also very, very important because the society of today is a knowledge society, and everyone has to have a chance to acquire the relevant knowledge to make progress in society. So I want to say that YOUTHGETHER is an initiative that gives all of us a chance to look into these issues and see what can be done for us in Africa, in Nigeria, to make the relevant progress that we should be making. Our counterparts in other parts of the world are also doing well. They have their issues, but I know that if all of us work together, the problems will be less and we will achieve more. So I want to say again, congratulations to us, congratulations to the panelists in this program. And YOUTHGETHER, please, I want you to keep going and never relent in the effort to look into the issues of the girls, of the women, and of the society in general. We will not forget that the boy child has his own issues, and I know that we are taking all of them together. Thank you very much, And I wish you the best.
That's the voice of a sister talking all the way from Nigeria, my good sister.
Thank you
Well
so
done.
much. Thank you so much, Professor. You have been such an inspiration. And what you say from Nigeria, ma'am, holds good for girls globally. So you brought up such salient points, and it's like we saved the best for the last. You know, your words were really, if anybody was sleeping, they would wake up. And thank you so much for your call to action, and also telling everybody, especially the youth here, of how we can do it together. Thank you. Ada, I turn it
Professor
over to you.
Ibo she is the Dean of Faculty of Education, Federal University, Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you for being an educator par excellence. And as a fellow academician, I salute you. And you see, that's how Ada and I work together. That's why I turned it over to her to do the introduction, you know, so that it's just not me introducing our esteemed panelists. Now, again, back to you, Ada.
Wow, what a day. What a day, what a day. Are we happy about the celebration of the girl child? Is an interesting section we all had fulfilling, hearing from the girls, you know, hearing from the girls themselves. That was excellent. Dr. Mini, you didn't make mistake in telling me to introduce my sister. You know, she was not on camera. If you have seen her on camera, you see that we look alike. We are from the same blood. That's why I insisted that I have to pull her out from her classroom to come and talk to us. So it's interesting that, okay, yes, she's there.
Thank you. Can we spotlight her, please?
I have to. You want to see that she resembles me, right?
No, I want to see how much of an inspiration she is, please.
Yeah. Where is her phone is off again. Okay.
She's still there.
She's there.
Still there, but I tried to spot her out. That's what's going on. Oh my God, can you see the resemblance? I didn't tell you that. Do I spot myself too? Can you see us?
Yes, I see two strong women side by side.
Two sisters.
Thank you so much, Professor Igbo.
Two sisters.
Hello, best wishes, Ada, and everyone.
Proud of
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, I can see you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. The connectivity is not so good, but
yeah,
I think we are doing well.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Wow. So I think the next thing is to bring in Prince Dr. Osita Nyameka, because to do the roundup and introduce the chair of planning committee of this anniversary, Mr. Amaka, to do the closing remarks.
Thank you so very much, Your Excellency, my Chancellor. Thank you for putting together the best team I've ever worked with, YOUTHGETHER Global. And I was surprised when I heard the voice of His Excellency Ambassador Antoine. Very secretly, I have been trying to reach him to say that the second year for YOUTHGETHER Global is the year we set aside to move from girl to woman. The project is on my table, and I'm happy that you are probably to support it, the project, Madam Chancellor. And for you, Dr. Mini, This is the second time I'm working with you on this platform, and I must say that you have done it again. You have taught me new lessons again. I wonder how you managed to get its salient points before the speeches end. By the time the speeches end, you already have everything taken care of. I want to thank you so very much for this. And I want to say that for being a partner in crime with my chancellor, you are a member of the family.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And let me tell you something. I mean, like, it is so important that we all stay together. As I said, it's not, Your Excellency, it's not region, race, or whatever we call it, but it is that common thread which binds all of us together. And we believe in what we are saying. That's why we need to continue walking the walk, as Ambassador Antoine has said so eloquently. And as you have said, and Ada and me, I think from my sister's watch, this is a great segue for us to see how can we go, because there's so many issues. And again, I would like to just, if you could humor me for 5 seconds, come back to the lack of hygiene, that is period poverty, which is prevalent. That is really bothering me more and more, especially now during the time of COVID, because the pandemic does not stop the periods unless a girl gets pregnant. We don't want the girl to get pregnant. We want her to be empowered. Thank you. Back to you.
Thank you. And also, Dr. Bini, your example from your family. The girls elect to work for your family because your mother will buy sanitary towels for her children and for the girls. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes,
I'll take
she
that
did.
home. I'll take
Thank
that
you.
home.
That's why I want to push this more. Yes, thank you.
Thank you. I want to thank also Dr. Grace. Where did she go? Dr. Grace, my sister from Dr. Congo. DR Congo, we call it Dr. Congo. Thank you so much for your wisdom, for sharing, all your content with us. I want to come home to thank members of my team, the Governing Council members of YouthGether Global. I want to thank Her Excellency Dr. Dan Kenley. I want to thank Her Royal Highness Nkosazana, Princess Shepi Motlang. I want to thank the ones that you did not see. My very strong director, Dr. Teresa Martin. She was here earlier, but I guess she left to attend to some personal issues. I want to thank the chairman of the organizing committee for this year's Day of the Girl Child, Ms. Amaka Abulwe, who I will call upon now to give the appreciation and close. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. God bless you all. God bless you all. I am so happy that today happened. It started on Saturday, and now we have come to a close. Amaka, thank you.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Osita, for that very wonderful welcome and presentation. Thank you to everybody who has presented this conference. This has been such a wonderful event, as it usually is. So, when we imagine the future for the girl child, when we talk about understanding what the needs of the girl child is, I hope that we have learned through this conference that it starts with each of us. It starts in the present moment. And to understand what you can offer in yourself to the women in your lives and your community. What can you also offer to yourself? This is the youth I'm speaking to specifically. What can you offer to yourself based on what you've heard throughout this conference, throughout this event? You can simply start by having an awareness for your own values. What do you value? What do you find important? Start there. If you notice that there's an opportunity to get involved in any organization that empowers, supports, or engages in your values, pursue that. Follow after it. Ask questions. Recognize that you are the leader and the architect of your own life. Empower yourself daily by seeking out leadership that inspires and motivates you, such as what you have seen throughout this conference. Reach out to some of the people that you have heard speak. This message of becoming the person that you desire to become by seeking out leadership to inspire and motivate you speaks directly to mental health as well. As we all know, October is mental health awareness. So one of the most practical ways that you can do this, I know a lot of the young ladies, young people in general that have been involved in Youth Together have brought up mental health and asked of ways that they can support their mental health. So specifically, one of the most practical ways to support yourself emotionally, especially on days where you may not feel positive about your abilities or your situation, it is to create an affirmative statement and repeat it as often as possible. If you know what an affirmative statement is, it means something that is true about yourself. You may not believe it in the moment, but it's true. So you say it to remind yourself, to bring yourself back to that place of empowerment. So even in this moment, let us engage in creating such an affirmation for the week ahead. This affirmation, of course, can be used at any time. So think about a statement for yourself that is true and positive, that empowers you, even if you don't yet believe it. So for example, I am learning each day to empower and lead in my life. So even if you're not there yet, is it a true statement? That is something that can carry you forward through the week, through the month, through your days. So when you empower and support yourself in these ways, you are then able to do this for others as well. Furthermore, you inspire other people who observe how you affirm your personal power. Personally, I remain inspired constantly by the women in my own life who I've seen use their education and creativity to get what they want, to show up in spaces, just as Dr. Ada has, recounted, and so many of you have recounted stories where you've done the same thing. So as we close today, as we reflect on a year of engagement with YOUTHGETHER Global and the progress that has been made, I ask you how the information you have heard today will be incorporated in your daily experience. This is a personal question for you to answer for yourself. And as the global youth of this generation, please reach out and engage with your fellow youth within YOUTHGETHER by sharing innovative ideas, discussing ways to address common concerns that you share as youth. So thank you all to our panelists, to our speakers, and to our youth for being here today and for continuing to support girls all across the globe. Thank you and have a wonderful, wonderful week.
Madam Chancellor, are you playing the South African music for us to close with?
I thought you were.
No, I don't. Do I? Okay.
Yes, you played it last time. Okay.
Oh, let me see.
You can send it. You can send it to Diane if you can't from your end. Send it to Ambassador Diane to share.
Okay, let me find it, please. Where did I leave it?
Your WhatsApp.
Yeah, on my WhatsApp. Actually, that's where I'm going now.
And you all join us on this campaign. Please set this campaign out to everywhere. Let's now engage girls in rural communities to a digital world. They must not be left behind.
digital girl child now. Let's girl child now.
Digital. Let's do this together. I guess it's my connectivity. Yeah, I'm almost there, but connectivity is so slow here.
Ambassador Diane, I think I can send it to you to share from your end.
Okay. Connectivity is bad in Nigeria all week.
Yeah, I just need 3 minutes to close for this video to play.
Okay.
Just to relax our minds for 3 minutes to close.
Happy International Girl Child Day to all of us. It's nice to be a girl. It's nice to grow up as a girl. It's nice to be father to a girl. It's nice to be brother to sisters. And it's nice to be husband to wives. What a day. They all started from being a girl child. So thank you all for coming. Thank you for your support. Thank you, Dr. Mini, for your continued partnership in our crime for posterity. Our crime is positive crime. Thank you, His Excellency Ambassador Antoine. You always be supportive. Their baby, YOUTHGETHER Global, is now 1 year old, and we are still counting. On Saturday, we were able to inaugurate 5 new chapters. Now we are 9 chapters. We are still counting. Our mission is gathering 1 million youth across the world for the development agenda. It's so wonderful to have this day to conclude the anniversary of YOUTHGETHER Global. I want to thank the country chapter leaders of Nigeria, UK, Sierra Leone, Kenya, South Sudan, Uganda, Zambia, mentioned it for me. It's so nice to have all that doing marvelously well in these countries in the name of YOUTHGETHER Global. Exposing the youth, getting them to understand that the future of this generation is in their hands. Thank God to Ambassador Victoria Suleimani for accepting to flag the campaign on Digit Girl Child. We have now taken up the mandate to digit girls in rural communities to be able to explore their global opportunity, even from their rural village. So we have so much to do, and we have good advisors. Thank you to my good sister all the way from Ebonyi State. When it comes to education, we just carry the whole thing to her table as the Dean of Education of a federal university. And trust me, if I leave it there, I turn my back. The next thing I see is action. So we are moving. And all the speakers, Winifred, that was excellent to have you share the work of the Working Group on Girls at the UN. It's wonderful having you. And His Excellency Roland, it was wonderful hearing from you. My second name is Oliver Twist, and I always say, if you want some more, stay behind. In this case, I'm not going to stay behind on yourself. I'm going to follow up with you because I want more from you. So thank you. And then to the wonderful group organized by Mary Kurek. Mary, you are so wonderful for that particular poetry. And it's going to be what we would like to really package it and donate it to the working group on girls and the UN women who are champions of the girl child. I think that the Beijing Declaration of 26 years ago have really done wonder, because that was the first time the issue of the girl child was mentioned in the global document. And ever since then, activities, actions have been taking place. Issues concerning the girl child have been in place. And today is another important day. We are no longer talking about child marriage, female genital mutilation, violence against women. We are now looking at digitalizing the girl child, digit the girl child to be able to stand on her own. So whether she's in a village or in a developed country or in a foreign country, there is a global connection through the digital world. I thank all the members of the Governing Council. I thank my friend, Dr. Grace. That child is going to be baptized by YOUTHGETHER Global when she comes. And from day one, she's going to be the Girl Child Chapter Coordinator for United States on YOUTHGETHER Global Girl Child. So we are waiting for her to arrive, and we are going to appoint her that immediately. So she will start her work immediately she's born. So we don't waste time. Since she is few days from the day of the girl child, and I'm sure maybe by surprise now, tomorrow I hear news that she's back, she's out, because we don't waste time. She's a girl for action. To all the members of YOUTHGETHER Global, I can't thank you enough. Princess Shepi from South Africa, you've been so wonderful, and you continue to be the strength of the Secretary General. Amaka, that was a very good planning event that you held. It's so professional and so standard. It's like I see you have been 5 years old, not just 1 year. It's so standard. So I thank you for your leadership in planning the event. Ambassador Diane is wonderful. It's Saturday, you're looking like somebody from the moon. I'm going to ask you whether you actually came back from the moon. Thank you for your time. Dr. Teresa Martins, Her Excellency Laila sent her message that she just had a surgery in Dubai. She couldn't join. So we pray for her that for good healing, that God, the spirit of YOUTHGETHER Global, the spirit of the day of the girl child will heal her speedily. Thank you, everyone, for your continued support. We shall continue to call you again and again in championing this movement of engaging youth across the world for the United Nations decade of action. Just as His Excellency always says in conclusion of his statement, let's get on board. Let's get on board. Get the youth on board. Get the girl child on board to digit girl child. Let's get on board. So the decade of action, no more wasting of time. Time is running. We have less than 9 years. Very soon we have less than 9 years to 2030. So let's get on board. I thank you all for coming. God bless you all and keep us in your prayers. We pray that the girls across the world will be wonderfully made to the glory of God. Wherever they are, whatever religion they are, whoever is bringing them up, the girls who have no parents, the girls who have no opportunity to go to school, by the reason of this special year of International Day of the Girl Child, the opportunities will open for them because the God Almighty has great delight in them, and so shall it be to the glory of His name. Amen.
Amen.
Happy week. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you, Madam Chancellor.
Thank you all. Thank you.